last video we talked about the most common tuning of Western music, equal temperament. We also talked about sharps and flats as well as semitones and whole tones. Now I want to talk about what this means for a major scale. The major scale is a 7-note scale that consists of a series of whole steps and half steps. A major scale is a diatonic scale. The sequence of intervals between the notes of a major scale is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Each tetrachord consists of 2 whole tones followed by a semitone. The major scale is one of the most commonly used musical scales, especially in Western music. There are 12 major scales and 12 minor scales, which would be a lot of info to cover in this one video, so we're going to stick to the most common scale, which is the scale of C major. It's also what the song's key would be, the key of C. C major is a major scale based on, you guessed it, C. It consists of the pitches C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. C major is one of the most common key signatures used in music. Its key signature has no flats and no sharps, so it's all the white keys on your piano, which means if you play any of the white keys on your piano, it'll sound good. The root note is C, and the root note of a scale is the note on which the scale begins. So in an A major scale, the A note is the root of the entire scale. In C minor scale, C is the root of the entire scale. The key of a song is always based around the root note in the scale being used for that song. And just an FYI, you can play any song in any key. So if you look at the scale applied with numbers, there are 7 notes, and the 8th being the octave. What that means is these are the notes you're going to use for your song. You have notes, chords, arpeggios, or arp as you'll see it commonly written. An arpeggio is a broken chord or chord in which individual notes are struck one by one rather than all together at once. A chord is a group of typically 3 or more notes sounded together as a basis of harmony. A major chord is a chord that has a root, a major third, and a perfect fifth. When a chord has these particular notes, it's called a major triad. Major chords are uplifting and happy sounding. Like the major chord, a minor chord is a triad composed of a root note, a third interval, and a fifth interval. If you take a major chord and lower the middle note by a half step or semitone, you get a minor chord. Minor chords are written with the suffix M or sometimes MIN. Minor chords are sad and emotional sounding. What really helped me when I was starting out was someone telling me to play 3 notes, skipping a note in between on each of the white keys. Now I know most of you know that songs have structures, but I'm going to cover it anyway. Songs have structures, which is the way a song is arranged. The most popular of which is verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, and maybe a last chorus repeat. They're usually written with verse being an A, chorus being a B, and bridge being a C. The most popular song structure is often referred to as A, B, A, B, C, B. 2 alternatives within this form are adding a third verse after the bridge, A, B, A, B, C, A, B, or having a bridge after the third verse before the chorus, A, B, A, B, A, C, B, B. You can make songs however you want though. It's art. You don't have to do a bridge at all or a chorus. These are just the most common arrangements used. Songs are made up of chord progressions. If there are just 2 chords, it's called a cadence rather than a progression. A chord progression or just progression is a sequence of chords played one after another. So with our numbered scale, if we made all of these into chords, we'd have this. To know which chords to play in order to remain completely diatonic to the key of C major means that whatever notes are contained within each of the 7 chords needs to be contained within the C major scale. What I mean is some of these chords like A, D, and E major have sharps in them and they don't fit into the key of C major. So you drop the third and make them minor chords. So now that you see they are numbered, you can understand what something like a C7 chord means. You guessed it, add in the B note. Or if it's C6, you add in the A note. There are other types of chords too, like augmented and diminished, but we'll save that for another time. There are particular common chord progressions which are used again and again in popular music because certain chords work well together to create moods and a satisfying sense of progress in music. This leads to a large number of 3-chord songs and 4-chord songs. But I've made a whole song with just 1 chord the entire time. It's art. Do it how you want. Let's get to this Roman numeral system thing. Chord progressions are often written out with Roman numerals. Now major chords are represented by an uppercase Roman numeral and minor chords are represented by a lowercase Roman numeral. So if you're jamming with a band and they tell you that the next song is a 1-5-6-4 progression in C major, therefore you would play a C, a G, an A minor, and an F. Now this same thing can be done for any key. The steps always remain the same. You'll choose which key you're working with, then you'll write out the notes of that particular major scale. You'll recognize that the 1, 4, and 5 are the major chords, and recognize that the 2, 3, and 6 chords are minor. Apply uppercase Roman numerals to the major chords and lowercase Roman numerals to the minor chords. A chord progression can be anything in different structured parts. It doesn't have to be 1 chord progression throughout the whole song. The intro can consist of just 2 chords, the verse have 4 chords, and then the chorus have 3, or whichever way you want to do it. If you don't want to make up your own own chord progression, there's chord progression generator websites that you can go to that will generate a chord progression for you. You can play around with other chord structures and add in different notes in the key that we learned. I hope this video helped you learn a thing or two. Next time we'll be getting into harmonies and melodies. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.